Joan Rivers said that Michelle Obama was a man before she died. When
was that a joke? I thought it was a joke.
I thought it was a joke too, but the way she said it wasn't like jokey. She was like, oh, come on, everybody knows Michelle Obama's the man. Like, remember that?
Yeah, like for that.
Well, I think she died because she had 1,000 plastic surgeries. But
yeah, she was going under.
Yeah.
She just sees these big black arms coming over her face. Big Mike.
Bro.
Everyone missed it. Until now, Joe Rogan just took a verbal sledgehammer to Michelle Obama's media glow-up. And let's just say, it wasn't exactly hope and change. 1 minute, she's dropping motivational quotes. The next, she's catching strays from the king of podcast chaos himself. Did Joe really say that about the former First Lady's cooking show? Oh yes, and that's just the appetizer. Buckle up, because this roast got hotter than Michelle's arms in 2009. By the way, if you want more no-holds-barred takes like this, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. It really helps us bring you the hottest content.
Joe Rogan is calling out Oprah and Michelle Obama for hypocritical speeches at the DNC. Watch.
She's up there talking about income inequality. Like, hey, lady.
Yeah, I know.
You're rich as Like, how is that equal? And also, when Michelle Obama was saying, you know, I think she was saying her mother or grandmother was always suspicious of people who took more than they needed.
Yes.
Like,
you
are worth so much money.
Take more than they need. The Obamas have 4 mansions.
I mean, it's a...
Michelle Obama, the only woman in America who could turn a workout session into a political TED Talk, is apparently still doing her full-time job as the nation's motivational speaker-in-chief. Only this time, Joe Rogan isn't having it. Because when the former First Lady starts turning broccoli into a symbol of moral superiority, somebody needs to grab a microphone and shout, "Stop the kale madness!" If you're enjoying this fiery breakdown, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe for more. You won't want to miss what's coming next.
She says the bars are just different for people in life. Right. The bar was very different for your husband. Very different. And I'm sure he got into Harvard just based purely on his intellect, right? And Harvard Law School. And he was ushered into the presidency with about 2 minutes of public service behind him, right? Like a short stint in the U.S. Senate after being a local Illinois lawmaker. And he was lauded like he was the second.
You'd think after 8 years of planting lettuce in the White House garden like it was the cure for political division, she'd take a well-deserved break. But no, Michelle's got a brand to maintain, a brand that screams, "I do push-ups and therefore know what's best for your children, your kitchen, your soul, and probably your cholesterol level." If you're vibing with this roast, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. Let's keep this conversation going.
When she had her kids, were they private or public? Like, when was that when he was a senator?
I don't know. I just know that
Like, he was a senator, right?
Yes,
Before he became president.
for sure.
So
I don't-
what, law school, Senate?
I have no issue because I want to live. I have no issue with Big Mike. I don't care that they killed that sex slave in Martha's Vineyard. That's what happens to sex slaves. They drown in ponds. That's what happens. You fuck the ruling class, you drown a pond. That's what happens. If you get your little mouthy, you go into the pond. I don't have a problem with it. I have no problem. I think it's good. I actually think it's good. I think it makes our country fun. I think it makes us unique. I think Putin and them are scared of that shit.
They do it all the time.
I think Putin and the Chinese are like, you don't know what's going on there. Because they got people that maybe they're men, maybe they're women, we don't know.
And while the rest of America is still trying to recover from her book tour that felt longer than a Marvel Cinematic Universe phase, she's now launching herself into some abstract realm of self-help. Queen meets moral compass meets CrossFit goddess. Meanwhile, Joe Rogan's just sitting there with a mic and a fistful of elk jerky, wondering why this woman is still yelling at him through Instagram Reels. If this kind of no-filter commentary is your thing, make sure to like the video and subscribe now, because the best is yet to come.
Everybody having a good time. The country's almost back to normal before World War III. COVID was just so strange. We lost a lot of people during COVID, and most of them are still alive. Yeah. Before COVID, I would have told you that vaccines are the most important invention in human history. After COVID, I'm like, I don't think we went to the moon. I think Michelle Obama's got a dick. I think Pizzagate is real. I think there's direct energy weapons in Antarctica.
Michelle tells you to drink more water. Joe tells you to eat more meat, and America just sits in the middle, chewing on anxiety and hot Cheetos. But of course, the real fun starts when Michelle decides she's got a new mission, saving democracy via podcast platitudes. Nothing says power to the people like a former first lady who's best known for making school lunches taste like wet cardboard, now giving TEDx speeches about how democracy is on life support unless we all do yoga and vote twice. If you're loving this spicy take, don't forget to like the video and subscribe. Join the conversation and stay tuned for more.
He was saying that Michelle Obama should run for president. If she won, she could pull her out and China would just give up. I was wheezing. I couldn't breathe. Big Mike.
Big Mike.
You know, just so proud of how you are being a role model for dealing with a child that's transgender.
Absolutely.
And that's, you know, that warms my heart, particularly as a Black man. You know,
Her version of saving America involves a vision board, a jump rope, and 5 overpriced books ghost-written by committee. Meanwhile, Joe's vision is a sauna, DMT, and 3 hours of unfiltered conversation with a guy who once punched a bear in Russia. Somehow, both of them think they're doing God's work, and spoiler alert, it's not the one bench pressing kale. Michelle's idea of activism is telling you to believe in yourself, unless you believe in the wrong political candidate, in which case you're part of the problem. There's something rich about being lectured on unity by someone whose eyebrows arch harder than the national debt every time someone says the word freedom without a liberal arts degree. And let's not even get started on her workout regimens. Michelle wants every American to feel like a failure if they're not sweating by 6:00 a.m. Yes, I'd love to do lunges while listening to my inner voice, but my inner voice is currently screaming, "We're out of coffee!" And Joe Rogan, he just says, maybe your inner voice needs more protein. If you're enjoying this wild ride, smash that like button and subscribe to stay tuned for more.
Change her name to Misery Obama. That's really what I think of when I... Misery Obama never has a positive word to say. Never. You know, not about children, not about family, certainly not about her husband. By the way, before we leave this topic, here's her latest soundbite that made the rounds. This happened on June 18th, but I was off. Here it is, 39.
You should have threw a boy in the mix.
I would. I'm so glad I didn't have a boy.
Yeah.
Because he would have been a Barack Obama.
It's like baby Barack. It would have been amazing.
Ooh, no, I would have felt for him.
She just borrowed our boys.
Yes, I got plenty.
Wow.
Did you catch that? She's glad she didn't have a boy because he would have been a Barack Obama. And that's a hard pass for her. This woman can't stand him.
The weirdest part? Michelle keeps acting like she's still in office. She'll post something on social media like, "We need to fight for the soul of our nation." And suddenly you're staring at your bag of chips like it's responsible for climate change. You know who doesn't do that? Joe Rogan. That man will look you straight in the eye and say, "Eat the chip. Just don't be a weakling about it." But Michelle has taken self-righteousness and repackaged it as a lifestyle brand. It's like if Whole Foods became a person, added a political science degree, and then told you that your anxiety could be cured with mindfulness and quinoa. And don't get it twisted. Joe Rogan isn't perfect. He still thinks his multivitamin stack can solve world peace. But at least when Joe talks about alpha males, he's not dressed like a Lululemon's appointed UN ambassador holding a rescue puppy and quoting Maya Angelou with the intensity of a Navy SEAL. Michelle, bless her toned arms, thinks she's bridging the political divide when she's actually just making everyone equally annoyed. Conservatives roll their eyes at her constant sermons. There's a fine line between empowering and patronizing, and Michelle turned that line into a catwalk every time she smiles while chastising Americans for not trying hard enough. Somewhere, a motivational poster bursts into flames from sheer cringe overload. If you're loving this unfiltered take, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. You don't want to miss what's coming next.
Michelle Obama and Harris. Harris comes back as the vice president. Michelle Obama's the president. We get a double dose of diversity.
They'll win.
Let's go, champ.
They'll win. And then who's on the Republican side? DeSantis?
Trump and DeSantis. They have to make a super team. It's the only way they win.
Interesting.
That's the only way they win.
So let me be as honest and clear as I possibly can. Donald Trump is the wrong president for our country.
He has had more than enough time to prove that he can do the job, but he is clearly in over his head. He cannot meet this moment. He simply cannot be who we need him to be for us. It is what it is.
She's mastered the art of making everything sound profound, even when it's painfully obvious. Drink water. Thanks, Michelle. Get moving. Revolutionary. Vote like your life depends on it. Ma'am, I just came here to find out how to make a healthy lunch for my kids without them calling Child Protective Services. It's like she thinks if she says something with enough passion, it becomes the truth. Michelle could tell you to floss more and suddenly it's a civil rights issue. Meanwhile, Joe Rogan just sits in his sensory deprivation tank, trying to figure out how the woman who once said, "When they go low, we go high," now makes you feel low every time you consider ordering fries. And let's not even dive into her cookbooks that make Martha Stewart look like a McDonald's cashier. Half the ingredients sound like things a wizard would whisper into a cauldron. Add a dash of Himalayan bee pollen and gratitude. Joe would just say, "Here's a steak, try not to cry about it." But that's the thing. Michelle's version of empowerment always comes with a side of guilt. You're not just failing yourself if you eat a donut, you're letting down the entire spirit of democracy and probably Ruth Bader Ginsburg. If self-improvement were a weapon, Michelle would be the nuclear warhead. Joe Rogan, he's the caveman with the club going, "Is this still gluten-free?" If you're digging this bold take, smash that like button and subscribe for more no-holds-barred commentary you know you want to.
I will not run for president.
Yeah, I've heard you say I think Michelle should run.
She could win. She could win, I think. I think if she ran, she could win.
Do you ever run for office?
No.
I have to ask it.
No.
No kind of office.
No.
I don't think she wants that, though.
No,
I don't
I
think she
guess.
wants that in her life.
Just-
The bull that they dealt with over the 8 years when he was president.
Because I've got these two young people at home. Being the kids, the daughters of a president, just think about it. Not so easy.
That job for anybody that really good at it.
Yeah, I trust the person who doesn't want the job more than
Yeah.
the person who wants the job.
It's not something that I'm interested in or would ever do, ever.
And if you thought she was done, think again. Michelle's now entering her philosopher queen phase, dropping vague life advice like it's gospel. You are the light. Great. Now, do you also pay my electric bill? Joe Rogan just looks at that nonsense and says, what does that even mean? And honestly, thank God someone's asking. Michelle's the kind of person who makes you feel like a criminal because you didn't write in a gratitude journal today. Joe makes you feel like a legend because you woke up before noon. Michelle says, we need to rise above. Someone in middle America just mutters, can we afford to stand up? The woman's so high on the mountaintop of moral superiority, she needs Sherpas just to hand out her book tour flyers. Meanwhile, Rogan's on the ground floor talking to the guy who invented his own protein powder using raccoon DNA. One of these people is making you feel human. The other is making you feel like you need to run a marathon to deserve a cookie. Michelle thinks America's biggest threat is apathy. Rogan thinks it's carbs. Both are technically wrong, but at least Joe lets you laugh about it. Meanwhile, Joe Rogan is over there saying, try ayahuasca and punch a punching bag. You'll be fine. And somehow, that's more relatable than Michelle's 12-step guide to moral clarity and salad prep. If you're loving this take, don't forget to like the video and subscribe. It's the best way to keep the heat coming.
The one
That's it. This is the one.
Or the first woman
We already
president.
have it with Obama, so let's just calm down.
Got it.
You know Michelle is a
I'm sorry, she's a what?
a transgender. We all know.
Oh my gosh.
That's pretty funny how she said it.
Okay, we all know.
And yes, it's exhausting. Michelle makes every issue a moral battlefield. Eat this, not that. Say this, not that. Believe this, never that. Joe just says, try thinking for yourself, and suddenly he's the villain. Please. At the end of the day, Michelle Obama is what happens when a life coach gets infinite funding, a designer wardrobe, and a political platform, then forgets that most Americans just want to eat lunch without being judged. And Joe Rogan? He's the guy who sits back, scratches his beard, and says, maybe she needs a nap or a cheeseburger. But Michelle won't rest, because resting is for the weak, or worse, the uninspired. Her idea of relaxation is rearranging her inspirational quote wall while wearing $300 0-cents yoga pants and lecturing a Peloton instructor on intersectionality. Joe Rogan's just here to remind us that life isn't that deep. Sometimes you just need a laugh, a good workout, and maybe, just maybe, less Michelle Obama telling you how to live. If you're enjoying this real talk, don't forget to like the video and subscribe. Let's keep the conversation rolling.
If they wanted to win, George Soros should have backed up the money truck to Michelle Obama and said, listen, you are going to run because people like you. They like you. It doesn't matter, about any of the conspiracies. Maybe you are Big Mike. Who cares?
What?
But you are going to run this goddamn country.
I can't believe you went there.
You're going to run this goddamn country.
That is the wackiest conspiracy.
It's a
currently
wacky
available.
conspiracy. Can I make one point for the people that are on the side of it?
Yes.
It is weird, but I don't think she's Big Mike.
Call it motivation, call it empowerment, call it what you want. But if Michelle Obama gets any more intense, the next time you scroll past her speech, your phone might actually do burpees. It's a wild world, but at least Joe Rogan's not trying to guilt trip you into drinking green juice while balancing on a yoga ball and crying about democracy, because sometimes all you need is one guy with a mic. And the courage to say, ma'am, not everything has to be a teachable moment. And yet, Michelle's out here turning grocery shopping into a revolutionary act. Pick the wrong brand of almond milk, and suddenly you're setting feminism back 50 years. So, while Michelle's busy judging your snack choices from a moral high horse, Rogan's cracking elk jerky and reminding everyone that enlightenment doesn't require abs or a book deal. If you're loving this vibe, go ahead and smash that like button and subscribe. It really helps keep these hot takes coming your way.